Sip of Sanity. We are back, ripped from the headlines. Netflix 13 Reasons Why. We're talking about bullying and our favorite times, favorite season
of the year.
Of the year, yes.
Netflix. We got
some Netflix. What's up, guys? We're back for another episode with Sip of Sanity. Cheers! Look at my big old mug, man. This needs to have beer, not water in it. But
your bucket.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll monetize this if we're out talking about.
Say it's apple juice.
My apple juice. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode. Yeah, we're back. We're back on set, man. It's been a while. And we are ready for another episode. So what do we have going on today? What are we going to talk about today?
It's our favorite time of year. It's the brokest time of year, but it's our favorite time of year. Starting with September as our birthday month. And then moving on to October, which is two of our boys' birthdays. Halloween, my favorite.
Halloween.
Ooh,
I'm actually
I love
looking forward to Halloween. I actually have a costume this year.
Oh, Lord. The cloak.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear my. Actually, you know
Cobra Kai?
Yeah, I'd rather a Cobra
Wait,
Kai.
KFC the Colonel?
KFC the Colonel.
You have a KFC Colonel wig.
Dang, I never bought that.
Why do you even have that?
Okay, so I bought this Colonel Sanders wig with some glasses because remember we were gonna film doing like a Jeopardy version with our kids.
Oh, that's right.
And I was gonna be the host, like what was I gonna name myself? Alex Trebek or something like that, like a knockoff of Alex Trebek. And then us go through like Jeopardy stuff from like the 80s.
We're still gonna do that.
Yeah, right. It's been like a year.
We bought a wheel.
I know, we bought all this stuff to do it,
Yeah.
and then the kids didn't want to film it, so we never filmed it. But that's why I bought this wig. Maybe I'll wear it on the next episode.
That's because you come in with all these crazy ideas, and you're like, "Yeah, woo!" And we're like,
I know, they're all Debbie Downers,
that
man. They're like, you know what, screw
lame.
it. But it would have been cool. So here was the thing, was that we set up this Jeopardy, right? And if the kids answer things, like it was like, who is this music group from the 80s?
oh, we were
what
gonna
is this
show
TV
them
show?
old
Yeah.
items, like
What-
a pager. We were gonna show them.
Don't give it away because they might watch
Okay.
this. But yes, different things from our time, and if they can name it, then they get points and all that stuff, right? But if they lose, then they get chores and all this other stuff. If they win, maybe we'll give them like a gift card or whatever. But I thought it'd be cool to have fun and just to see if they knew like
It
things.
sounded fun, and everyone wanted to do it. It's just the minute you want
Everyone
with
wanted
your
to do
KFC
it. Yeah,
wig.
right. Everyone wanted to do it. That microphone just turned. No, nobody wanted to do it at all. So we didn't film that. So maybe if you guys put enough thumbs up, say, hey, we want to see the kids do Jeopardy from the 80s.
We'll
Put
do
thumbs up, and we'll make it happen. So take the segment while
we'll
I
just
look
tell
at
them
my
if
mic.
you don't do it, you guys are gonna have to go outside and pick up dog junk.
Fix
But
it
no,
up.
Halloween was where we were at. It's our favorite time of year. Except I don't dress up. We don't dress up. The kids dress up. But it's fun. I decorate, right?
Yeah, you do.
I
You do.
decorate like crazy. Like September 31st, I start putting all the pumpkins out. Thanksgiving, of course. Christmas, of course, being our favorite. And with Christmas comes what's my favorite to watch during Christmas?
Oh, dear God.
It's the Hallmark Channel.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Okay, at least I know the women are going to give me a thumbs up on this one. Oh, okay, so I like how you roll your eyes about the Hallmark Channel, but let's not forget the time I came home and I walked in the door and he's sitting there watching the Hallmark Channel, Christmas movies,
I swear, Hallmark.
and your eyes were watery.
Hallmark like puts a spell on people somehow.
It
man, 'cause
really
once you
gets
start
you
watching
into
it,
the
you're like,
spirit.
and you just get into like the stories and all the craziness, and I don't know what happened that one day.
I think we watched
Only
a few
time-
back to back, and then you're like, all right, okay, we're done.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I
But
can
no,
watch
it's my favorite time of year to watch Hallmark Channel. I have to sit through Cobra Kai, like
I have
wait,
to sit.
wait.
You binge watch by yourself. What are
I
you talking
watch football.
about? Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
So when it comes time for Christmas, he watches Hallmark Channel.
Yeah.
It could be
Whatever.
worse, like reality shows,
Yeah.
chick flicks.
Chick flicks. Yeah, I guess so. All right, guys. So hey, so this time for today's Netflix, we're gonna talk about what happened. Did I almost break the chair? I'm about to pick you up off the ground right now.
And take me to the hospital.
Yeah, that probably would happen on one of our shows, right?
It will.
And so we're gonna talk about 13 Reasons Why. So season 3, you guys. So we just finished binge watching this from last weekend, and we watched episode number 13 last
We
night.
got really sucked in this
Yes.
season. Like
Okay.
we've always sat and binge watched, but it's like if we don't get to an episode because it's a Sunday and during the week we can't watch movies. It's just too hard with our schedules.
Yep.
We're like, yeah, we'll get to it. This season, right? We were like, we need to watch it today. We're gonna binge. We have we've been watched.
Oh, I'm not the only one tongue-tied today, huh?
We've binge watched this and like really gotten into characters.
Yeah. So check this out, guys. If you haven't seen 13 Reasons Why, let me kind of back it up, right? So we'll back it up to season 1.
Back it up.
Back it up, back it up, back it up.
Nobody's
My
gonna
daddy
know.
taught me good.
Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Cause my daddy taught me good. I'm backing the hell out of there. And I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, my god. I'm back.
Check that one on YouTube. That's hilarious. I lost my train of thought now. So 13 Reasons.
Back it up to season 1.
Back it up to season 1. So 13 Reasons Why is about suicide, right? So you have a teenager that commits suicide, and then she leaves these tapes about
Well,
how.
there's a lot of bullying.
Well, let me
Okay.
get there. I'm trying to set it up.
It's not
Jesus. You just
suicide.
snuff it, just jump in there and cut me off. So look, it is about suicide, but it's about how this character, Hannah Baker, and all these people in her life, all these people at school, all these events lead to her suicide. And what she does is she leaves these tapes behind for them to hear, so that they know what they did to her, how they affected her life, and every individual played a role. And so you have this one character, Clay, who he's the
Clark.
last person, right?
Clark.
She calls him Clark every
Carl.
time. What's his name? Carl? Clark?
I don't
It's
know. Every
Clay,
time I talk
man.
about Clay, I can never get his name right.
Never
And
gets
I've
his
said
name right.
Carl. I've said Clark.
Clark. We'll just call him Clark. So Clark gets these tapes last, right? And he hears all these things of all these different things that have happened to her, all these different characters that have done things to her that led her to committing suicide. And he decides to take action and kind of rebels, and he kind of tries to make them pay for what they did in some
Yeah.
sense, right? So that was season 1. Season 2 is what? You don't remember season 2? Season 2 is about the trial.
Okay,
So
the trial,
she
and then
was-
she kind of makes an appearance again, but she's his like.
No, you're gonna confuse it.
Ah,
You
okay,
go
never
too deep
mind.
and confuse them. It's basically about the trial from one of the guys. What's his name? I always forget his name. The football player, Bryce.
Bryce
That
Walker.
Bryce. One of the last things that happened to her before she committed suicide in season 1 is that she was raped. Okay, and so in season 2, it's mainly around his trial and them trying to bring justice to Hannah and bring more awareness about suicide and things that happen.
Well,
But
Jessica too on the show.
Yep.
On the show, was also raped
Mhm.
by Bryce Walker.
Mhm.
So it revolves around. I want to say mainly Jessica because Hannah, unfortunately, is not alive
She's gone,
anymore.
but
But her
she's there in
mom though
spirit.
is in on this trial, fighting for
yeah,
her
so-
daughter's rights.
It's a very powerful drama that's about like suicide prevention, and in season 3 it takes the story in a completely unexpected direction. I'm not gonna what is it called when you give it away, but what is it called though? You say it's an alert, darn it, I
I
forgot what it's
have
called.
no clue.
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
There you go. That's what it's
You're
called,
having
right?
issues today.
Yeah, I'm tired,
Spoiler
man.
alert.
Spoiler alert, right?
Well, it's been out How long? Oh,
It's been out.
It's been out for a few weeks.
But I'll kind of share what I think about it, and Mark will share with you. But it really took us in a completely different direction with a character that we didn't know anything about. Her name's Ani, and the whole season 3 is being told through her lens, which she's a new character to this high school, and some of the stuff she knew about, some of the stuff she didn't. But she ends up living with Bryce, the one accused of rape.
Her mom is the caretaker of Bryce's grandfather.
Yep, and then she meets up with a lot of the characters. Clay becomes friends with them and all that, and it just kind of takes you on an unexpected
But you never
journey.
know every episode. You never know where the story's going to go. Like, just when we think, or you think you've got it, like, oh, okay, so-and-so did this, or so-and-so did that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, nope.
Yep. It was really simple, guys. Things that are like really, really effective, like in movies, is when you're drawn into it because of it being unpredictable. And with this season, I think it was so
unpredictable until the very end.
And everyone became a suspect, which was even better because all of these students, including the students that were involved with season 1, all these students become suspects to Bryce's death. So in season 3, they find him dead. And the whole season's about figuring out how that happened, and it's like murder mystery. And so it was such an awesome season. Like you guys have to check this out. If you haven't seen it, go to Netflix. Like you have to see this series. And I think it was pretty amazing. I think it's one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. That really, this season hooked me in, man. But
it's very, very dramatic.
But I think, in order for you to really understand season 3, you have to watch season 1, season 2. Otherwise, you're just going to be lost.
You will not understand.
You won't understand what's going on. So it's totally built off.
Well, there's too many characters. They build up the character storyline. So if you don't know the character's past, you won't understand the present and what's going on. So draws you in, though.
Yep.
And in this season, too, I think a lot of the characters that we learned to hate, we started to feel compassion for him, and I were like, why am I liking this character? Like, I should hate him. Or it was just, you start to see that people, regardless of their choices and mistakes, are human. And, regardless of what led up to a certain situation, that this person's a human. They were a child at one point in their life and innocent. So what got them here? It's kind of sad. It was...
Yeah, it kind of, what it reminded me of is kind of like, we all know people do things, right? And we see the event of what happens, but you never see the aftermath of what happens to them, how it affected them. And for season 3, the journey of Bryce, seeing kind of the aftermath of how the trial and all this, we all kind of expected him that he'd go on, everything's great in his life, and the exact opposite happened. And you see you almost feel bad for this character, even though he did horrific things. He came to recognize what he's done and how he's destroyed lives.
And he really tried to make amends with people. Yeah. He really, really tried to be better, and he, I think, himself knew that he almost couldn't be, right? Because he kind of said that. He knows I can't be better, but he's going to try.
Yeah. Yeah, it's intense, man. It is no joke. It is intense.
It is very intense. And
that'll kind of lead us to our next segue, which was bullying. And I think this episode, guys, I think watching this season, after we kind of talked about it as a family, and kind of more Marlena and I talked about it, just seeing how bullying can affect people. And I don't think we see or really understand the magnitude of how bullying can lead to things like this, can lead to, people committing suicide or just beating each other up because they're frustrated with each other, or other horrific things that happen in this series that probably happen every day.
I would say I got a better understanding of that, right, in the last year or so, where our own children, one of our children, experienced a form of bullying that, we've had kids bullied in the past, but I've always taken care of it. I don't let these things go. The minute I hear of anything, I stay on it. I'm constantly checking in with my children. And if not, I follow up with teachers. I've always been this way. I follow up with principals. He knows that. I'm just not quick to let this stuff go. And this last year, we had, I would say, a pretty deep experience. It's probably the furthest a bullying situation has ever gone with one of our kids. And I ended up getting, how did it all start? So it became physical. The bullying became more physical. Once it became physical, I was like, no, no, not dealing with this. My child is not going to be touched, or pushed around, not touched, but pushed. And it was by a boy. So anyways, I did reach out to the school and unfortunately didn't receive much help.
Does that surprise anybody? I mean, that doesn't surprise me, you know.
The person I spoke to didn't follow up with me, kind of brushed it off, and unfortunately, I didn't know what to do. I really didn't. I didn't want to rip my child out of her school. I think we talked many times about I just didn't know what to do, and so I had downloaded an app called Nextdoor App.
We'll put it in the description.
Yes, and we downloaded it originally because our dog got lost. That's another story.
That's another story.
But our dog got lost, and I downloaded a Nextdoor app. Someone told me to, so you input your information of where you live, and it's your community. So I'll go into that in another segment. But what I did is I reached out to the community, and I literally didn't give information. I didn't give details, but I just stated for parents, men or women, my child is going through this situation. I reached out to the school, and they were no help. What would you guys do? Please give me recommendations, advice, an opinion, anything. And I thought, okay, maybe one or two people would respond. And I was honestly like dumbfounded, right? I came to him, I'm like, you would not believe. I think I had over 50, not joking, like 50 messages, and that didn't include personal. People were commenting on the feed so others could read it, but I got personal messages in this app so others couldn't read it. It was more personal from at least 15 people. One of those people just so happened to work at the school district that our daughter's school is in.
Yep.
And
small world, right? Small world.
The person who texted me. The person who messaged me said, I have my position. I don't have, will help you, but I can get in touch with the superintendent. And I was like, whoa. At first I was like, whoa, I didn't mean to go to this route. However, I was appreciative of it. So this person actually reached out to the superintendent, gave them my number, and she called me, and she got involved with the school. And the main person of the school ended up reaching out to me finally. And I guess you could say took care of the situation.
Yeah, that's what you want to call it. I wouldn't say that. But...
Well, no, I don't want to go into detail. But anyways, this is what I did as a parent to help my child, because I think I felt, this is probably the one time in my life as a parent I felt utterly helpless. And with watching 13 Reasons Why, and I'm not saying she was at that level of anything with committing suicide, but
it's fair to say these are the types of things that could lead to.
But she was coming home.
Yeah.
I think she felt defeated, utterly defeated.
Right. Yep.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna get emotional. So yeah, as a parent, I felt helpless. I told them there were nights where I was laid in bed, and I would get up at 2 a.m. just to go to her room to check on her. I know that sounds really dumb, but as a parent, when your kid's going through something and you can't help them, you feel helpless. Utterly helpless. Things got better. However, I think we have not another situation this year, but it's just a lot going on with that. But
yeah, and guys, like, the truth is, we would all hope that the school system can eradicate this and deal with them. And let's be honest, that's not true. Like, they just don't. They don't take prompt action to do things. It's just, I'm not knocking the system, but this is just how it is. You got to remember that even though it's a school, funding is based on attendance. Funding is based on they're not just going to go start suspending everybody for everything. Like they need funding, so there's always a lag time. There's always a delay. They're trying to like quiet it down as best they can so that things don't become public or whatever. Yeah. And that's just kind of how it is, man. It is with a public school, but
I think in the show 13 Reasons Why too, you see a lot of the staff wanting to help, trying to help, and I don't think they have the ability to. Yeah. There's someone over you who's gonna shut you down and say, no, you can't do that. You're just a counselor, or you're just a teacher, and you can only do so much. So I get it. I do understand it. However, I think there's a lot more that they can do. I think more resources that they need to have, or maybe like I really think they need to have a not suicide, but issues of like a hotline number for kids. I know they have that for kids, but in the school, I think the school needs to have some type of person to go to. I don't know. Yeah. I just think there's a lot they need to change when it comes to I think your kid feeling safe enough to go and open up to someone.
And then on the back end, as parents, how do we teach them to communicate about this stuff? Because like so many characters in this show, they hold it in until it gets to a point where they're at a breaking point. And that's realistic. That's why I think the show is so amazing and people have connected with it, because that's real world. And how do you get your kids to talk about stuff? How do you teach them how to work through these things without just blowing them off like, it'll be fine, don't worry about it, just go back to school. Those are the hard things as parents, and those are the tough decisions as a parent that you gotta find a way to connect with your kids, find a way to at least have dialogue about it. And how weird and how ironic when this show came out, it helped lead to those conversations about bullying, suicide, things that happen in high school, like all that stuff. It led to those open conversations, and a lot of parents don't feel comfortable talking about that.
No, those are things we openly talk about.
We're very open with our kids.
And I know that it's made a difference because our kids come to me immediately. I'm surprised sometimes by the stuff they come to me with, and I'm like, wow. But it makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing something right. If my kids feel safe enough to come to me with some of the issues they're going through or some of the stuff that's going on in school, then as a parent, I must be doing something right. I must make my kid feel safe enough or trustworthy enough to come to me. And we do openly talk about that stuff because, if you don't, your kids are kind of in this little nutshell, and I think they are given this what do you call it? Almost like a fairy tale of how life should be. In reality, it's not. So I think, unfortunately, we discuss a lot of things going on, the headlines that we see on the news. We sit and let the kids know, or the kids will ask us a question, and we openly talk about stuff with them because...
Yeah, and just to be honest and transparent, guys, look, I would love to shelter our kids, but I don't believe in creating false realities for them that, hey, you can live in this bubble and then you go out into the real world. At some point, they're going to have to face the real world. At some point, they're going to have an employer that they don't like, that treats them like garbage. Like, all these things are realities. So we talk about those things now. Like, I rather prepare them and them understand, like, the reality of the world, and that it's not always sunshine and rainbows, even though we wish it would. There's going to be tough times, because when you face those tough times, your true character is going to be tested. And if you're not prepared for that, if you're not mentally prepared for that, then people give up. And that's when, bad things happen to these kids, because they don't know how to deal with it, and they find a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And so it's one of those things that I just personally feel as parents that that's okay to talk about these things. It's okay to have those moments where, that you can just openly talk about things and not talk about them being frustrated with your kids, but just open dialogue about it. So,
and to end that not the situation, but to end that portion, and anyone out there, like, if you're feeling alone or like you can't speak to someone, it doesn't have to be a parent you go to. Find someone that you can trust, anyone. It doesn't have to be a friend. It could be a coworker, a teacher, someone you know from church, someone you know from sports, I mean, anything, but talk to someone, because people, I mean, you'd be surprised. People are always willing to listen. Just find someone to talk to.
All right, guys, we're going to segue into Ripped from the Headline. Okay, so I'll try to, since
on
we're
a lighter note.
It's actually not on a lighter note. It's based on school. I'm like,
sarcastic.
we're talking about school. We're going to talk about some more school right now. So, Ripped from the Headlines. Will Felicity Huffman Sentence in college admission scandal send a message to other parents? So, guys, if you are not familiar with this, Felicity Huffman, who was she married to? I don't remember that, but
I don't know. She's an actress.
she's an actress and all that stuff. And there was a scandal. I'm sure you guys know about this. If not, I'm sure I'll put on the screen. I'll put some links in there to the story and all that. But she's going to face her sentence next week, actually. And if you're not familiar with it, former Stanford, or she was Stanford, her kids went to Stanford, and she, bribed, paid, I don't know how she did it, but she got her kids into this school by manipulation.
There was staff that was
Staff
accepting the
members
money to get them to go attend these schools.
The sailing coach brought them in on scholarships and all this crazy fake
scholarships.
scholarships. It's like crazy. But so her sentencing is coming up September 13th. But here's the thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, because I kind of want your perspective too. But to me, it's so interesting to look through this lens, like, and maybe it's because there's privilege. I don't know. It's like, I've always grown up like, you have to work hard for things. You have to go to school. You have to make a better life. Your parents sacrificed for you. You got to go out and make effort to change your life, and do it in a way that is going to make them proud. But reading this kind of stuff doesn't surprise me, but it kind of blows me away that as you kind of progress in life and you have privilege, that it becomes easier to do these things, right? Because there's money. I forgot what we were watching this morning too. Another scandal, which I don't remember, on Channel 5, had to do with paying off people to do the SATs and just weird.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, no. You know what it was? I'm sorry. It was the Lifetime movie that was created based on this story. There's a Lifetime movie that's based on manipulation and hey, they're in a privileged family and they pay money to have their SATs be done for them and all. I'm just thinking like, man, this is so crazy with money. Is it easier to do these things? And the answer is probably, yeah, it is. It's people are all human, man. You go to someone that needs money, and they're the ones that control the scores on SATs, and you drop $100,000 on them to fix it. Is it possible? Absolutely. And I would have thought before, like, this is kind of something that you would see like in a Lifetime movie that's not real. But yet here it is in the headlines. And then you also have the other actress, I forgot her name, from
Full House.
From Full House, yes, going
Lori,
through the same.
wasn't it Lori?
I forgot her name. It's Lori something, yes, but going through the same thing, and it kind of makes me kind of mad that in life we're kind of.
Because I mean, all these parents who have kids who are busting their butts in college right now, and then it's like these stars come in and pay money, and their kids right up there with these other kids who academically got themselves there, and these ones are there by, unfortunately, money.
Yeah.
Money buys into a lot of garbage.
So here's one thing I could say. I get it. I don't think it's ethical, but I get why they would do this. You want your kids to have the best opportunities, guys. It's real true story. The best opportunities that you're going to get in life come from the places that you've gone to school. And if it's prestige college, that carries a lot of weight. It does on resumes, looking for jobs, things like that. So I get that part. Like, I get them trying to better their kids, but instead of making them work for it, they just gave them a pass. And when it comes to facing reality, like tying it back into this show, at some point, even these kids are going to have a hard time facing reality. What happens when the money?
Teaching your kid that they're entitled,
and cheating works. Right? And so at some point, I truly believe that at some point the scales balance out. whether life comes back to haunt them or their decisions, or maybe they can't cope with life because of how they were brought up and the shortcuts that were getting. All that stuff kind of balances out, unfortunately. And but it's kind of sad. Like, I really think that it's sad. Like, what does that teach our kids?
It's sad for the kids because some of these kids, okay, I don't know how they didn't know, but they didn't know that their parents were paying to get them into a college.
Yeah.
But then you think about it, how did you not know
you
didn't get into a college? Unless they took a test and totally failed, and it's like, woo, you passed. I don't know. I don't know the details on it, but some of these kids stopped talking to their parents for that reason.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that.
I do too. I'm just saying, this is what I've heard.
To me, look, the damage is done, right? The fire is burning. We got to save the kids. So rather than having them face that and knowingly acknowledge that they had some involvement, the parents are they're already burning for it, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, just take the fire, make the kids say whatever it takes so that they weren't involved, play innocent. But I have a really hard time knowing. I mean, we all know our capabilities, man. I know I suck at math. Like, and if I get an A on a math test, like, I know something's not right, and I might be like,
that's true.
Okay, well, I'll take the A.
Even in school a few years back, I felt like I sucked at this one test. Like, I didn't study much for it, and then I got an A. Yeah. I was like, wait, this. I don't think I got.
Did you look hot that day?
The teacher was
just kidding.
The teacher was an older lady.
Hey, you never know. I don't know. All right. We'll kind of move on, guys. Let's see. Must-see movies this fall, you guys. All right. So, one movie caught my attention. There's a couple in there, but one of them caught my attention. I swear these chairs are going to break.
Our chairs are broken.
If you guys would like to donate to our channel so we can buy new chairs, please feel free. There's a PayPal link in the banner somewhere.
Chairs are really broken. I think he gave me
they're
more broken one.
They're zip tied on because they broke.
Oh yeah, so, they're really bad.
They're swivel chairs, but they're broken. So, one movie that actually caught my attention. We're not gonna show the trailer, but I want you guys to check it out. I'll put it on the screen. But Joker is coming out in October.
You're gonna say Hustlers.
Oh yeah,
I was like, J-Lo catch my attention too.
I was gonna talk that out, but I don't even want to see that movie. But I put it on here. I put like 5 movies that were upcoming.
Oh, and Joker with
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
So I actually had a chance to check out this trailer, and it looks like I didn't watch the full trailer because I was kind of busy, but it looks like it's kind of before all the Batman stuff. It kind of takes you back to like when he was younger and all that. But I will tell you that his portrayal of the character actually looks pretty darn cool. So I'm actually interested in.
The minute I heard he was playing Batman, I'm like, he's gonna make an awesome Batman.
Oh, I thought the exact opposite. I was
really?
like, Joaquin Phoenix. Actually, he's a good actor. I take that
Batman?
back. Huh?
I said he's gonna make an awesome Batman. He's not Batman. He's just.
Never listening while I'm talking. This is my life, guys. Never listening while I'm talking.
I heard. It's just, this is how my life functions.
Mm-hmm. See? But yeah. So
he's going to make a great Joker, is what I was trying to say.
The movie's named Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. He's going to make a great Batman, guys. Just so you guys know. He's going to make an awesome Batman. So, but yeah, that's a cool movie. There was another one on here, guys. Screw it. I'll just mention it. Rambo Last Blood.
Oh.
I'm
not a fan, but I actually want to see it.
I want to see it because I know it's going to be so...
Is he in a wheelchair now?
With his cane. I'm sure this is going to be a pretty bad movie.
Sorry, that was me.
But I still want to see it. I don't care. I want to see the final Rambo movie. Big, huge Sylvester Stallone
Does he still say, I'll be back?
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator 2. Yes,
movie.
He will not be saying "I'll be back." Just so you know.
That'd be funny if he did.
Actually, it'd be pretty darn funny. But I do want to see it, guys. It's gonna probably be pretty funny. And there's gonna be a lot of destruction, mass destruction, kills, and all that. That's just kind of the Rambo MO movies. But I think it's actually gonna be pretty cool. So my expectations are here, and I see it. I hope it's here. But really, I'm not. My expectations aren't too high. And I think it's going to be a cool thing to watch. Did you want to mention the other one?
I can't read that far.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we'll leave that one for the next time. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Sip of Sanity. Let's
Is-
have. What's that?
Were you like, oh, with your cup? It's so ginormous.
Why are you making fun of my cup?
I bought it too.
I gotta drink this water because I've been talking so damn much. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you